Oh, start with the lasers, huh, Spinny?
Starting the episode off right, baby, with the lasers. Welcome to episode 99, the
Who do we
mock
got?
draft.
Who do we
Woo!
got, Spinny? There's so many 99s out there, man. Give me one.
We got Jason Taylor. We got Daniil Hunter, our
Yeah, we can't shout out
recently
the goat.
left
We can't
D
shout out
end.
the goat. Wayne Gretzky, best hockey player of all time. How about your boy, Spinny? Manny Ramirez.
Ooh, I forgot about Manny. That's a good one. Manny is my boy.
J.J. Watt, Warren Sapp. I mean, the list goes on and on. Episode 99,
Yeah,
starting off hot. CFB Mike joins us for the NFL mock draft. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing unreal. This is like one of the greatest weeks of the NFL offseason, and I'm just super jacked. I think the Vikings are going to get their franchise quarterback. We don't know exactly when, where, how, who, but we're all going to find out Thursday night, hopefully.
let's go.
Nice.
Cannot wait for that. On that note, let's get to it. So let's hear from Jack and get this draft started, boys.
The draft. Spinny, what's our order, man?
We're starting out with Bus. Bus got to pick the order, so obviously put himself first. Classic move there by Fetty Commish, the classic Commish. Not the first time Fetty has been caught rigging draft orders in his history, so shouldn't be surprised. Mike has pick 2, and then I will have pick 3. We will go in that order every time. We got some fun stuff in here for you all today, so let's get after it and start with the biggest rat himself. Fetty Buss is on the clock.
We're doing trades, right? Just to explain the rules, right?
Yes, I was kind of going to let the audience be surprised by that one, but yes, we will have trades splashed in throughout here. This is going to be a trade-heavy draft. So many quarterbacks, so many teams that are trading up to get them. A lot of teams that have their quarterbacks and need to trade back for more pieces. So just a perfect mix going on here. I think we'll see a ton of trades, and so we're going to bring them to you here on Hard-Headed Sports. All right, Bus.
I actually wanted pick 1, so I could take the man, Bo Nix. Pick 1. No, I'm just playing. Come on. We all know it's Caleb Williams. My only question for you two, is there any chance the Bears, knowing how infamous they are for messing up QBs, is there any chance they don't take Caleb Williams there? No, right? They're actually not going to mess this up?
I really, really hope not. I mean, I kind of hope they do, but I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I mean, as a division rival, I actually hope they somehow mess this pick up, but I just don't envision it. Every report says they are, in fact, going with Caleb Williams, which is the right route to go. So that is the pick I am taking. Caleb Williams for the Bears. Pick 1.
Mike, pick 2. Commanders on the clock.
What an awful franchise, first off. Let me just start by saying that. They are under new ownership. You got a new GM, got a new coach. A lot of, a chance, do you think, to start fresh, be a young franchise. But I got to say, very disappointed with their offseason moves so far. You got Austin Eckler approaching 30. You got Zach Ertz, who's turning 34 this year. Bobby Swagner turning 34 this year. The recurring theme of their roster is that it's old and ancient, and they basically got 1 or 2 years to contend before they got to rip it down and start over. I thought they'd go the younger route overall. And this is just one of those like perennially bad teams that you think will probably be picking here next year and again in 5 years. I think the wise move would be to trade this pick to a quarterback needy team. Very unbiased take. Maybe a team that has 2 first-round picks and wears purple. But I'm going to keep this here roped in pretty close to earth, and I'm going to take Jaden Daniels from LSU. I think this team is way farther away than a quarterback away from being successful. But I guess this is kind of what they're locked into. So yeah, I don't feel great about it if I'm the Commanders with the roster around him, but Jaden Daniels is the pick. You're up here, take the quarterback, right?
Like that. I'm gonna go myself here with pick 3. Patriots on the clock. I think there's a chance the Commanders screw up and take Drake May with pick 2. I really do. But in this given scenario, with Williams and Daniels off the board, I am going to go, I think maybe with a little surprise, I am going to take a quarterback here, but it's going to be J.J. McCarthy. So I'm going to go with J.J. McCarthy to the Patriots here at pick 3. I think there's a chance Drake May is the faller in this draft. We know he's definitely not ready to start right away, probably sitting a year. Just a little too, I know the Herbert comparisons are out there, but we've seen recently how quarterbacks with inexperience can fare, especially at the beginning. So I'm going to go McCarthy to the Patriots here at pick 3.
Wow. I did not expect that one.
I like it.
That one at all. I like it too. I like it. I could see the Patriots doing that. Pick 4. Obviously, this is the Cardinals here. This has been talked about as a place where teams would trade up, draft a quarterback. Cardinals obviously need a ton, so they might be willing to trade back. But important to note, the Cardinals have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, so they might not actually be very motivated to trade back given that. So given the weapons, or the lack of weapons, I should say, on the Arizona Cardinals, the obvious pick here is Marvin Harrison, WR1 of this class. Get Kyler some sort of weapon out there. He'll be a ball hawk out there. So Marvin Harrison, pick 4.
Well, I got to say, at pick 5 here, I did not expect Drake May to still be on the board. And that brings quite an interesting predicament to me now.
Ooh.
If I'm the Chargers, the best wide receiver just came off the board. Their picks, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're lacking picks in this draft. Let me just confirm that quick. No, they got all their picks. I'm still going to hold. I think this would be a great spot. If this happens on Thursday night, I think this would be a great spot for the Vikings to trade up and offer 2 first-round picks with their guys still on the board. But with that said, I'm going to have to go ahead and take Malik Neighbors for the Chargers here. Had me thinking. I did not expect the J.J. McCarthy. I definitely didn't see that coming. So that's a good curveball, Spinny. So 2 LSU guys in the first 5 picks.
Like that, Neighbors and Daniels off the board. The Giants need to take the best player available. I truly think that. I think they're kind of a little locked to Danny Dimes for at least one more season before they can get off of him. So I think we're going to go tackle here with both those top receivers off the board. I think we're going to go with Joe Alt, who I think is probably the consensus best tackle in this draft, going to the Giants.
And honestly, I think Joe Alt is a type of player that could be a top 5, top 3 pick in other drafts if it wasn't so loaded and QB heavy this year. I mean, that dude is a stud. So I like that pick there, Spinny. I think we're going to introduce a trade here, finally. Pick 7 belongs to the Titans. I think this is the perfect time. Drake May still on the board. The Vikings move up and grab that pick. They only have to move up 4 spots, though, so I think the deal is going to be pick 11 and our next year first rather than pick 11 and pick 23. So in our scenario, the Vikings will hold on to pick 23. So obviously, since we just moved up, we're going to take the last available quarterback, Drake May, to the Vikings at pick 7.
I love that.
Before we move on to pick 8 here, I'm just going to ask us, how would you feel as Vikings fans in this scenario? Getting Drake May, keeping pick 23. How would you feel?
I'm good with it. Totally good with it.
I feel like you made out like bandits where
earlier
this week you're thinking at pick 3, you're like, why aren't the Patriots giving it up? They're going to take our guy, and we're going to have to figure out where the right spot is to get J.J. McCarthy. And now not only do you not have to give up that second first-round pick in this year's draft, you're just I think this is the best case scenario for the Vikings almost.
Do you like May over McCarthy?
I do. I think that, especially with how different the Vikings scheme has been the last couple of years to what Michigan, how they run their scheme. The Vikings have anything but a good run game, and I think that definitely plays against JJ McCarthy. And he does have a big arm. He's very athletic. He could probably figure it out, but there's kind of leaps and bounds to be made, in my opinion.
For sure.
I like that. All right, pick 8, Mike, with the Atlanta Falcons.
Got a couple different ways we could go here. We're 7 picks in, we have 7 picks in, no defensive players off the board. And I debated on who I think is the best defensive player in this draft. I think that Atlanta has plenty of offensive weapons. They're only going to get better with Kirk Cousins. So I'm going to go Dallas Turner, edge
Hell
from
yeah.
Alabama.
Come on, baby.
Lord knows Bus wasn't going to allow us to have 10 picks go by without a Bama player in this draft.
Big facts. All right, Bus, recap for us. First 8 picks. You'll be seeing it. YouTube viewers right now currently recapping on the screen for you.
We got Caleb Williams to the Bears, James Daniels to the Commanders, JJ McCarthy, pick 3 to the Patriots, Marvin Harrison goes to the Cardinals, Malik Neighbors, pick 5 to the Chargers, Joe Alt, pick 6 to the Giants, Vikings trading up to pick 7 to draft Drake May, and Dallas Turner goes pick 8 to the Falcons. And Spinny, you are on the clock with the Bears' second pick already.
This is a tough one here. Kind of had a little table talk about this pick before Hardheaded started today. And it's tough. I think Alt is a guy that the Bears are really hoping falls in this pick, that we get some trade-ups in a scenario where they're I think their tackles are worse than their receiving core, obviously with Moore and why am I spacing? Keenan Allen on the squad. But I don't love the next 3 tackles, and I think drafting one of those 3 here is too high. So we're going to go with Rome Odunze, wide receiver from Washington. I think they really just want to set Caleb Williams up with as many weapons as they can possibly can. And we might see the best offense in the history of the Chicago Bears. History of the entire franchise. We might see the best offense. Something crazy. All right. Bus, pick 10.
Pick 10, Jets. I was looking at Odunze. Since he's off the board, I'm going to go, in my opinion, best available weapon. That is Brock Bowers, in my opinion, getting drafted here. More weapons for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, they address their O-line needs in free agency. Wouldn't surprise me if they get more depth throughout this draft. But I think they're going to go for the home run hit here and go for Bowers, get Rodgers some more weapons. Defense is already loaded, and they're obviously trying to win now. So I think that's a piece that could help put them over the top. So Brock Bowers to the Jets.
Like that pick.
Like that, I think it's a weapon for sure with the Jets at 10. Mike, Titans traded back pick from Minnesota.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think that they made a lot of good moves this year. I struggle with this because this is another good candidate for Odunze. Maybe on draft night they consider moving back up. I don't know. But yeah, they made those adjustments on DB. They got L'Jarius Sneed from KC. So I think it's too early to go corner here for them. But I think I'm going to go with the UCLA edge, Leatu Latu. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Latu, last name. UCLA edge. And I don't know. They could go so many different directions. I think this is just always, you need pass rushers in this league, though. Kind of a vanilla pick from my perspective. But, yeah. I mean, if running the other position I was thinking about was running back. but I think it's way too early for running back. They got to replace Henry. That's like a big gap for them.
So my question is, even with how bad their O line is, you just don't anticipate them taking a tackle here?
I could see it. I could see tackle, but I don't know. I think there's a giant gap between Olu at Penn State and Joe Alt. I just think that they can address that later in the draft.
Agreed. I think Latu is a guy with a huge draft range. I can see him dropping to the mid to late 20s range, and I can see him being taken here in the 11 to 14 range as well. So I don't mind this pick, and I think it's definitely possible. It's back to me with the Denver Broncos. This is a hard pick as well. I think Denver really wants a quarterback, obviously. It seems to me that that's where they're going here at pick 12. It is too much of a reach, I think, for the classy Denver franchise to take one of those quarterbacks higher than they're supposed to be taken. So we're gonna go with Quinyon Mitchell, corner here for the Denver Broncos.
Stud.
Bus, how do you feel about the old kid from Toledo coming off the board before your boy Terrion Arnold?
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, right? But now Terrion's available for my pick here at pick 13. I am taking Terrion Arnold here at pick 13. I'm kind of with Spinny. These Broncos and Raiders both need a QB, right? But I feel like it's too early for Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix could be a guy that you see drafted at the end of the first round. Team trades back up to the end of the first round to take him, something like that. So I'm going Terrion Arnold, the best corner on the board now. And Lord knows the Raiders need some secondary help. So Terrion Arnold to the Raiders. Thanks, Spinny. Appreciate you, man.
You're welcome. I'm a little bit more of a Quinyon Mitchell guy than Terrion Arnold, but it's obviously close. They both bring slightly different skill sets to the board. Mike, with the Saints pick, another trade up candidate, I feel like. So what are you thinking here?
Yep. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the next quarterback off the board here. I am going to take Michael Penix to the New Orleans Saints. And I think my reasoning is very simple. Derek Carr sucks. It's time to plan for the future. And you don't want to get caught holding a stink bomb. So
don't talk about the 13th best quarterback in the league like that, Mike. Don't be talking about my guy Derek Carr like that on the spot. Come on.
Done. Dead arm. Retire.
Don't retire. Carr hate is real.
I don't know. It's crazy the drop off he's had. I mean, I still think about his rookie year in Oakland where they had that magical season. And then he had the season ending injury. Connor Cook had to start a playoff game, and it was just never really the same after that for him. So kind of another one of those things, kind of like Teddy B, where what could have been. And he had a couple decent seasons for the Raiders after that, but nothing that really recaptured that flame of that first rookie season he had.
I like that.
Hear that, Spinny? Their car does suck.
Fine. I'll accept it. Moving on to pick 15 with the Colts. I think this is a team that is a trade-up candidate as well for a weapon, whether it's a receiver or a guy like Brock Bowers, or apparently, as Jim Irsay has said today, Marvin Harrison Jr. That would take, obviously, a wild trade by them. But I'm going to go weapon here, and I'm going to go the best available wide receiver left, in my opinion, and that is Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Indianapolis Colts.
All right, kid. Gosh.
It's a little earlier than I anticipated him going, but solid. Yeah. I mean, when you look at I think this is kind of when you watch LSU games last year, Jaden Daniels threw so many touchdowns. It's like, is it Neighbors? Is it Thomas? Like Thomas caught more, if I'm not mistaken, Thomas caught more touchdowns than Neighbors last year, which is kind of crazy to me. But yeah, I can't argue with it. The Colts, I feel like they have a lot more holes, but someone to pair with Pittman, I think is, reasonable.
And just a big play god here. 6'3", 210, ran a 4.32 or 4.33. So second fastest combine time, 6'3", 210. So just a very physical weapon that I think Richardson would very like to have. Okay, Bus with the Seattle Seahawks to cap our first half of the NFL draft.
Tons of tackles available here still. Trying to decide which one. I think I might as well just go with my Bama boy, J.C. Latham, to the Seahawks here. Obviously, you got Fashanu and Fuaga still on the board as well. But I'll just be a little biased, pick my Bama guy. J.C. Latham, pick 16.
J.C. Latham, good. I, in my opinion, do think he might be better than the Penn State tackle. I think it's up for comparison. Olu is obviously getting a little more hype than JC, but I like that pick there by Bus. Mike, you're up here with pick 17. Oh, before we go to pick 17, I'm sorry. I will read you off picks 9 through 16. Roma Dunze led us off for the Bears. Brock Bowers to the Jets. Latu to the Tennessee Titans in a trade back with Minnesota. Quinyon Mitchell to the Broncos. Terrion Arnold to the Raiders. Michael Penix drafted by the Saints. That's a shame. Brian Thomas, wide receiver, to the Colts. And J.C. Latham to the Seahawks. That finish out our 1 through 16. Mike, you are pick 17 here with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right. I'm looking one direction and one direction only for the Jaguars. They need a DB. It's kind of tough. Do you go with Nate Wiggins from Clemson, or do you go with the white boy, Cooper DeJean from Iowa? And this might sound a little crazy, but I think I'm going to go Cooper DeJean here.
Wow, Mike. White corner in the NFL, huh?
You're I know. So it's a little surprising, but I don't know. When I look at we're not looking at skin color here. I mean, he's just an athlete and he makes plays all over the place. True. And personally, I wasn't all that.
He's versatile.
Clemson defense. Yeah, he's very versatile. I was very, I guess, disappointed with how the Clemson defense was last year. So I kind of puts a little bit of an ick on Wiggins in my head. But yeah, I think that the Jaguars are getting a good player and they can kind of move him around too. He's not limited to corner. If corner doesn't work out, you get a little bit of flexibility. He could play, that big safety position too. Agreed.
Just had a joke about our white corner effects. Got to bring it to the pod.
It was an invalid signal as well. Just to remind their viewers.
True. All right, pick 18, the Cincinnati Bengals, who nobody likes to play for, apparently. T. Higgins wants out. Trey Hendrickson wants out. No one wants in for Cincinnati. But I think finally it's time for Olu Fashanu to go here to Cincinnati. They really need a tackle, and especially at this mid to late first round, I think it's a great spot here for him. All right, Bus. Is the technical abilities allowing you to take your pick here at pick 19 with the Los Angeles Rams?
Man, I'm kind of torn on where to go here for the Rams. If I'm being honest, let's go defense here. I think they need to address their D line. So I'm going to go Jared Verse, edge rusher from Florida State, here with this pick. I could see him. I mean, this is another guy. Talk about Latu, like Spinny said. This is another guy that has a wide range. He could go all the way up to like pick 10. Could fall all the way to the end of the first round. They obviously need to address their D line after losing their best player ever in Aaron Donald. So Jared Verse is the route I'm going to go for the Rams.
Like that. All right, Mike. Tell them the surprise here with pick 20 and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, since Brian Thomas is off the board, the Steelers do need a wide receiver, and they're going to get one but it's not going to be a rookie. They're going to get Brandon Ayuk from the San Francisco 49ers, and in return, they'll get Brandon Ayuk and a 2024 fourth-round pick, and they'll get this. The 49ers will get the Steelers' first-round pick here at 20 overall. And I don't think this. I mean, I think this is more of just a Brandon Ayuk's unhappy deal than it is the Niners need to come up and get somebody here. I think the Niners are the most well-built team in the league, which kind of scary them getting this pick. And I thought about it, like where would you go? I don't think you need to fill in with wide receiver immediately. There's a couple out there, but I think wide receivers are a little picked over. That's why the Steelers are making this move in the first place. And so that's where I kind of struggled. They can go best available. I don't think they need to do this, but I'm going to go Nate Wiggins from Clemson. I just bashed him a couple minutes ago, but I'm going to go the DB route here just to get some depth. It does take a couple years to develop these DBs sometimes, as Vikings fans know. He's not going to get pushed down the field. I think it's a very nice play, and then they still have some they still have another pick in the first round. So I think the Niners could come out ahead.
Like that there. Pick 21, Dolphins. Biggest need is defensive tackle. The only first-round defensive tackle in this draft, in my opinion, is still available, and that is Texas's Byron Murphy. He will be the pick here for the Miami Dolphins at 21.
Great pick. There's a lot of D linemen stacking up here, right?
Yep.
Man,
Bus.
Screw
Eagles.
you, Mike. I was gonna take Wiggins here. You know what? I'm gonna have to do it. I really think the Eagles need to address their secondary here, whether it be corner or secondary or safety. I mean, I think he's the best one available. I'm gonna go my guy. I have a trend here of picking Bama players. Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Eagles here at pick 22.
Reach. Got our first.
Hey, you just watch, Spinny. You just watch, baby. Just watch. This man's gonna be a god.
Injury concerns, obviously, the main deal here with Kool-Aid. Mike, the pick we've all been waiting for here in our home state, the Vikings at pick 23. Who you got?
So the Vikings got their quarterback. I think there's one other position that they're really depleted at currently, and it's D tackle. So I'm going to go and take Johnny Newton from the Illinois Fighting Illini. I think it's exactly what they need. They need a big man, run stuff. When you run the 3-4, you need a big guy that can eat a double team inside, and I think that's exactly what Newton can do here. And he can kind of move around. You know, he's a little good. He's a solid pass rusher as well. So in the 3-4, you kind of get the down lineman situation. It gets mixed up a lot, and I think he has that versatility to really succeed in that scheme.
Pick here for Dallas. Before we get to Dallas's pick, I'm sorry. Let me read you, starting with pick 17 here, and Cooper DeJean, Olu Fashanu, Jared Verse, Nate Wiggins, Byron Murphy, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Jerron Newton from Illinois is picks 17 through 23. Now, pick 24, Dallas. He had to give me this team, classic bus behavior. Team I do not want to pick for, but I think offensive tackle.
None of us want to, man.
True. Offensive tackle, probably their biggest need. They love having a big, sizable, athletic tackle, so I think Amarius Mims from Georgia will be the pick here for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think they go line there too, so I like that pick. Packers, another team that needs to go line. They lost Bakhtiari. They have a lot of defensive pieces. They have a lot of young weapons already. They have their quarterback. They need to now protect their quarterback, right? I will go to Talisi Fuaga from Oregon State as the lineman for the Packers. It was tough. I was choosing between him and Troy Fatanu. Maybe even Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. Those are the main three I was considering here. So I'm going to go Fuaga, though.
Like that pick. Mike Brown here with the Buccaneers. Any chance we see Bo Nix slide into the first round?
I think that not here is what I'll say about that. I think Baker might be having a renaissance down there. He might be able to make a career down there in Tampa. I might be drinking the Kool-Aid on Baker now.
Wow.
So
okay.
I guess my ultimate like thing that I was a little frustrated with on this Buccaneers pick is that I kind of contributed to this, but the DBs are kind of picked over. Carlton Davis is gone now. They need to replace him bad. So maybe in hindsight now, looking at it, they might need to trade up to get their guy. There's a lot of guys out there, but there's some good edge guys still there that I want to pull the trigger on. So that defense
do it then.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Chop Robinson, Penn State. I think he's the best player on the board right now at this pick.
I knew he was going off soon here.
But again, I think they do have a massive hole. But again, sometimes towards the end of this first round, you do got to take the best player available. So I'm happy with that pick still.
I like that pick. We're here at 27 for Arizona. Another pick by them. I think they go back to offense. And I know this isn't a very splashy pick, but I kind of do believe this guy is the best player available. And that is an offensive guard. So we're going to go Troy Fautanu from Washington here. I think it's not sexy taking guards in the first round, obviously, but I think this is maybe even a Zach Martin level guard that we're talking about here. I know that's big praise, but I think it'll be worth and a guy that the Arizona could keep on their team for a long time.
I like that.
Definitely a much needed player there for the Cardinals. Bills, they obviously need a weapon since Spinny is a rat and took Brian Thomas already. Man, I think I'm going to have to go Adonai Mitchell from Texas. That's the route I'm going to go here for the Bills. They need a weapon. They need a receiver. They lost Gabe Davis. They lost Diggs. They need to pick a receiver.
Pick 28 for the Detroit Lions.
All right. This one might be my craziest pick I've made.
Woo!
And I'm going to go with Tyler Nubin of the University of Minnesota. Very early. I think my reasoning behind it is Kirby Joseph is going to be suspended like half the season. he clearly just doesn't learn. He gets fined. He gets suspended. And their other safety slot is open, so I think they need a rangy safety in here. And like I said, DBs are picked over. Maybe I've shown a little bias towards DB here. A lot of grades have him middle of the second round, but I really like him. I thought earlier in the year there was a chance he could be a night one player, and I still think the Lions have been known in their recent draft history to go get their guy, and they don't care what the number is or what their grade is on him. When they have the chance to pick him, they'll go get him, and I think they do that again here.
I like that. I mean, that is a huge reach there. We seeing a gopher in the first round, Mike?
First time since Bateman, right?
Wow,
Bateman didn't turn out either, so
true.
Not a good track record there.
Speaking of Bateman, the team that drafted Bateman, the Baltimore Ravens, is up here at pick 30, and I really considered Xavier Worthy here, but it is the Ravens, so I will take the team into account, and we will go Darius Robinson, edge from Missouri, kind of a hybrid edge tackle player, perfect player for the Ravens, guy they love to just throw around everywhere, and he can go get the quarterback. Decent in the run game as well. Just a guy that I know is going to thrive in what they do there in Baltimore. All right, boss. The Super Bowl L takers, the San Francisco 49ers here at pick 31.
49ers. Well, we had the man, Brandon Ayuk, get traded already, right? So they're probably going to look to replace him here with this pick. I know you already mentioned Xavier Worthy, right, Spinny? I'm actually going to go a different route here. I'm going to go a guy who's an elite route runner. I think they need more of a middle of the field threat. I'm not really big on Purdy's arm and downfield threat there. So I think they're going to go Lad McConkey here. Elite route runner. His ability to get open is second to none. It might be a reach. I kind of honestly would be shocked if McConkey was a first-round pick, but I just love his route running, his ability to get open, and I think that's what the 49ers need more than a downfield threat in Xavier Worthy.
Mike, I think this makes your pick very easy.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not even as sold on Xavier Worthy. I think they already have one fragile wide receiver in Kansas City. So let's just play devil's advocate here and let's just talk this one out here. We know the Chiefs are going wide receiver here. They need it. Even if Rashee Rice plays at some point this season, they still need another wide receiver to pair with Hollywood Brown. And then they have an aging Travis Kelce as well, who down the stretch last year going into the playoffs, like he was kind of pedestrian, if we're being completely honest. And then he recovered in the playoffs, but I kind of like Xavier Legette. I think from South Carolina, he did a lot with a little. They had one of the worst O-lines in the country last year. Spencer Rattler's running for his life, and the one constant was Xavier Legette was a big body target, getting open, and he had a lot of production. So 6'1", 220, maybe more bigger in the frame than he is on the height. I thought he when you watch him, I swear he was 6'4" every time I'd watch him on screen. But
guy looks like DK Metcalf when he's playing.
He does.
Yeah,
thicker frame. I think he's going to be more durable compared to the other smaller wide receivers that they got. So I'd go
also
Xavier
a
Legette.
4.39 40 as well from Xavier Legette. So not like we're talking a guy that's slow either.
He's kind of built 20. Like even just throwing it back to last year, he's kind of got the same frame as what's his face, Jonathan Mingo. They kind of have a similar body type. I liked Mingo going into last draft. Obviously, Panthers, they're a mess, but I kind of compare those two together.
Yeah.
Bus, you want to read the last 8 picks for us?
Last 8 picks. Pick 25 to the Packers. If I can read, is Talisi Fuaga. We have to the Bucks, pick 26, Chop Robinson, stud. Troy Patanu goes pick 27 to the Cardinals. Bills, pick 28, A.D. Mitchell. Lions, pick 29, Tyler Nubin, surprisingly, Minnesota's own. Ravens, pick Darius Robinson. 49ers take Lad McConkey at 31. And to finish our first round, the Chiefs are taking Xavier Legette.
There it is. The first round
fellas.
of the hard-headed mock draft has been completed.
My question for you guys is, who didn't we draft that you think for sure should be a first-round talent?
Lots of tackles left on the board.
Yeah.
Tyler Guyton.
Yep.
Patrick Paul. Morgan. Yep.
So interior line obviously doesn't go as high typically, but on Mel's big board right now, he's at 18 overall, and we didn't get picked at all, so that's a little surprising, but
agreed.
Yeah, Barton's got to be the number one.
Lots of tackles not taken, and there's still a couple pass rushers left as well that I think could potentially be first round picks. Even the other Alabama guy, Braswell, and Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan, both two guys that I think could sneak into the first round as well.
Do you guys think we were right with leaving Michael Penix out of the first round?
Bo Nix, you mean? He got picked, Bus. Come on.
Bo Nix left. Sorry.
Bo Nix left out of the first round. I think there's a chance he gets traded up for.
I forgot he took Penix to the Saints. My bad, Mike.
And also Xavier Worthy, I think, even just given his speed purely, especially if the Raiders are picking, I think there's a chance he's in the first round.
The Raiders, huh? You just had to throw
that
in there.
Yeah, how many speed receivers are they going to draft? They're going to be busts. All of them.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, actually. When you look at that 10 to 15, 16 range, all those teams could use a quarterback, and we had one quarterback go in that range. Because, I mean, again, everyone loves to say that quarterback's the problem for your team, and that's where the blame goes. But yeah, you look at some of these teams, like the Saints, they could go so many other different directions than quarterback. The Broncos as well. Like, okay, you get a quarterback, then what? The Jets. The Jets are another interesting one. Well, yeah, they get probably 1 year with Rodgers, is what it feels like, and then, yeah, so they could be planning for the future as well. But with Bo Nix on the board, I think that would be a trade up for one of those teams, whether it's the Jets, Broncos, Raiders, maybe even the Seahawks with Geno. The
Yeah.
trade up early day 2 to get
Facts.
Bo Nix. Bo Nix just seems like a Seahawk. I guess
True.
went to
He
Oregon.
kinda
just
does,
seems like a
honestly.
Seahawk.
Well,
All
Mike,
right.
we appreciate
Anything-
you coming on, man. Always
Yep,
coming on,
thanks,
helping
guys.
us out
Always
with
a
this mock
pleasure.
draft. Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see how we do tomorrow night, man. It's finally
night.
here, NFL draft. So excited.
Got it. All right. Well, thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me,
Mike.
fellas.
Yes, sir. Peace. For the Hardies and Hardos, all our mock drafts individually, me and Buses, will be dropped tomorrow on socials as well. So please check those out for more of our exact what we think is going to happen. But this is always fun. Always fun getting Mike on, pretending to be NFL GMs. It's all of our dreams
Yeah.
and what we all want to do anyway. So
yeah,
now
please, Hardies and
on.
Hardos, don't roast us too much when our live mock draft is brutally off, because, like Spinny said, we are not NFL GMs. We just like doing this for fun.
We like to be in it. We want to be NFL GMs, though. Okay, mock draft part 1 is over. Now we're on to part 2, and we will start with breaking headlines of our part 2 of episode 99. Jack Bustler, Jackson Robert Fetty Bus Bustler.
Did you
Full
just drop my
government
federal
names out.
name? What?
Yes, government names
Bruh.
are out on episode 99. And tell us what we got for headlines.
Okay. We have a lot of headlines. Let's just start with what was announced right before we started recording, because it's about your very own Minnesota Timberwolves.
Nas Reed!
Nas Reed has been awarded
Let's
the
go.
6th man of the year. Let's go, Spinny. Historically close race. We had 45 first place votes for Nas, 43 for Malik Monk. 352 total points for Nas Reed, 342 for Malik Monk. This went right down to the last couple of votes, man. That is so awesome. I mean, obviously Malik would have been very deserving of this award too, but we absolutely love seeing this given to Nas Reed, a guy who was undrafted, Spinny, undrafted, this man.
About time this man got his flowers. He deserves it. Been a baller for a couple of years. Deserves his recognition, all the credit. Let's trade Cat for Trae Young and keep Nas Reed, and then the Wolves will be set.
Facts. And I do believe, Spinny, that halfway through the season, when we did our predictions, you accurately predicted Nas winning 6-man before he was even like on the betting sheets. I do believe you picked him. So shout out to you. You had faith.
We'll have to merge that out, but I did have faith in Nas. Next headline.
Tyrese Maxey, he won most improved. Spinny, what do you think about this trend of players that are getting this award that, in theory should be improving like this, right? Maxey was a decent, a late lottery pick. He should be theoretically improving. So what do you think about this award seeming to go to players like that rather than your more stereotypical Kobe White type of season, right?
I don't mind either way. I think the best
Right.
season should
Same.
be awarded in this award. Both of those, I think, can be made cases, and just the argument between them is always fun. Obviously, feel bad for my guy, Kobe White, who fulfilled my prediction and dubbed up in that first round
He
game
did.
against the Hawks. So
You
love
called
you
it.
always, Kobe White, for that. But yeah, congrats to Tyrese. He definitely deserved it.
Reggie Bush also announced today, Spinny. Reggie is getting his Heisman back finally. Finally. The main thing that was irritating about this to me is, like, it's not like he did use performance enhancing drugs or anything like that. Like, what does him signing autographs have to do with his performance on the field? You know what I mean? Like,
Y- Yeah,
it's
I agree. I've said it the whole time. Agreed with you on that. I'm just surprised it happened. Period. Though I did
that's
not
true. That's
think
fair.
it was gonna happen.
Yeah, I saw the panel. They just said, well, it seems like this athlete compensation thing is here to stay, so we have to reinstate it to Reggie. That's essentially what they were getting at. So, shout out to Reggie. I saw the picture of him holding it today. He was so excited to have that back in his possession. Olympics. Next headline. Spinny. Our roster was announced. If I can find it, we have Anthony Edwards
More Wolves
on the
credit.
squad.
Let's go.
What do you think about Anthony Edwards making the team? That had
Love
to be
it.
a given, right?
Yep. We start calling him MJJ. That's the new Anthony Edwards name.
Michael
MJJ.
Jordan Jr. or what?
Yeah, man. This man looking like it. That shot over KD last night, little working him up and then a little step side right in his face. Man, that was fire looking. Looked just like Jordan, low key.
Isn't
Like
that crazy?
Ant even moves more like Jordan than Kobe did, right? Like as far as the heavier, like physical, just the way he moves. Is Kobe was more long and lanky looking, and Ant just has
Right.
that build that looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's hilarious. The rest of your roster: Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. The Avengers are in fact assembled. Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid. That'll be big time. Devin Booker, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Davis. Also, Kawhi Leonard will be your 12th member. So, man, we better win the Olympics, man. That's all I got to say with that damn roster. Holy crap.
Harsh words from some of his former French team members for Joel Embiid
Oh, I believe it.
on his USA commitment. I could see that, but yeah, with Embiid and AD, those are two real big men. So that's gonna be a tough one to go up against.
I mean, our third big is Bam Adebayo. Like
Yeah,
that's so lit. That's so lit. All right, Jonte Porter, Spinny. It's been resolved. He was in fact banned from the NBA after placing, I should say, at least 13 bets. Spinny, this was the right punishment to do, right?
you can't point shave. Sorry, it's just the rules.
Sorry,
That's what he did. That's what he did essentially. Um, Disrespects the competitiveness and all that. Disrespects the game, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean,
100%.
this is the biggest rule. You know you don't bet on games that you're participating in, and then he's betting on player props and leaving the game knowing he's gonna win. Like I'm sympathetic. You know, it's not like he was on a big contract making a lot of money. Like I get where he was coming from, but it's just the one thing you know you can't do. So it is what it is.
Yeah. And did you see what other news happened in the Porter family, Spinny?
Tell us, boss.
Coleman Porter sentenced to 8 years in jail for a DUI that resulted in the death of another driver. So yeah, tough week for the Michael Porter Jr. family. His brother's not having a good week, so that's tough for them. Prayers to them, though. I guess. I mean, you got to stick together and try to get through these tough times. But both of them are kind of avoidable mistakes, so can't feel sorry for them too much.
Tough.
We have some contracts spinning. The Lions out here paying their boys. Apparently, there's no deal imminent for Jared Goff, but they did extend Amon-Ra St. Brown today, as well as Penei Sewell, both now highest paid at their position in the NFL. Are you okay with these values here for these two players?
Yeah, that's what you got to pay him. I'm just
4
sad we
years,
couldn't get the.
120 for Amon, and 4 years, 112 for Penei.
I like it. Both great players. I wish we could have got the Jefferson contract signed before this one.
Yeah, because now we're gonna have to pay him at least $5 million more a year.
35. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. NBA playoffs. Let's start with the plan. The only thing I want to ask you about the plan. Warriors obviously went down, right? Is the dynasty officially over? Done.
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's a good chance we've seen Clay's last game. I also
I
think
agree.
there's a chance they tear it all down and get rid of
They
everybody
might.
except Steph.
I honestly, that's kind of what I'm expecting at this point. Like you,
So
you
we'll
might as
see.
well just get rid of Draymond. If Clay's just going to walk in free agency as he is expected to do so, you might as well get rid of Draymond and tear it all down. So it's crazy to say, but 10-year run, man. I mean, these things never end pretty in sports, right? So they
No.
got 4 titles out of it. They had 2 other finals appearances. Amazing run by the Warriors. Incredible.
Best basketball dynasty of our lifetime.
Oh, easily. Yeah,
Yeah.
easily. Can you imagine? Like, they should have 5 in theory.
Yep.
So, like, that's why a lot of people say 4 is the perfect number because they did win the one with all the Cavs injuries, but then they lost the one with KD and Clay both going out to the Raptors. So, NBA playoffs. Spinny, what has shocked you so far in these series? We have the Wolves up 2-0, Pacers, Bucks are 1-1, Mavs, Clippers are 1-1. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around from comps. I'm just reading them as they are played. Cleveland's up 2-0. New York is up 2-0 on the Sixers, and the Nuggets are also up 2-0 on the Nuggets. Right now, the Heat trail the Celtics by 2 points. Celtics are obviously up 1-0 in that series. OKC plays the Pelicans tonight, up 1-0. Anything crazy surprise you from this opening weekend of NBA playoffs?
Not a ton. The Wolves the most, I think, honestly, just the way they've been fairly dominant of a team with a bunch of stars on it. So credit to the Wolves. I think your surprise might be the Magic's underperformance because the Cavs have kicked their ass in games 1 and 2.
Hey, that was not really surprising me. If I'm
Really?
I had Cavs winning that series.
Yeah.
I had Cavs in 6. I guess I'm a little surprised. I did mention how I thought they would be struggling to score, especially in the fourth quarter. They're just not able to execute at a high level in the half court, and obviously that's something you have to do in the playoffs. But it has been worse than I expected. So I didn't really see, I mean, they're out here struggling to get to 80 points, Spinning. Like Cavs are really clamping them down. That one might be. I don't want to overreact too much from 2 games, but that series might be set and done already, if we're being honest.
Telling you, I said that about the Cavs the whole time that the Magic didn't have a chance. So
Well, what about the Wolves then, man? Mr. Suns and 6
yeah,
over here?
yeah, I was wrong with Suns and 7. You're right. I was totally wrong with that, probably. But we'll see. We'll see how Game 3 goes. We'll see how we play on the road. I expect the Suns to win, but we'll see what it looks like in Phoenix. And then, especially if the Suns win Game 3, Game 4 really becomes what the series becomes. So we'll see.
Facts. Let's comment a little bit on the roughing. Specifically, Nuggets Lakers series, Knicks 76ers series. Obviously, Monday night there was a lot of heat for how those games ended. What are your thoughts on the roughing so far in the NBA playoffs?
It's been okay. I actually haven't been that hating of it, honestly. I thought they've let them play a lot, which is like what I like to see in the NBA playoffs. There's been a couple things, but I did not think the ending of Knicks Sixers was as bad as everyone else thought. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they did miss 2 fouls and a timeout.
Yeah. But those fouls, not egregious in my opinion.
That's true. They weren't egregious. I agree. The last 2-minute report did say that there was 2 fouls on that play and that Nick Nurse should have been rewarded a timeout. So, it's just crazy to me that you mess up 3 times on one play, right?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Come on. Especially on this stage, you got to be getting those calls right at the end of the game for sure. Lakers, Nuggets, though, I'm not giving any slack to the Lakers. Yeah, they missed some calls at the end of the game that should have been called for sure. But the rest didn't blow a 20-point lead. Lakers, LeBron, LeBron walking out of this press conference all pissed. The rest didn't blow that lead for you, LeBron. Y'all did. Y'all could have executed better in the half court. Y'all could have slowed the Nuggets down more. I mean, you had a 15-point lead entering the fourth quarter and you blew the game. I mean, those are games you got to win. So that game was definitely more on the Lakers than it was the rest, for sure.
Agreed.
Rest of the series, though, I think they're pretty much how we expected. Pacers, Bucks, I think both of us expected that to be back and forth. So seeing that being 1-1, no surprise there. And same with the Mavs, Clippers. We obviously figured they'd split those first 2 games of the series because that one will likely go 7. Now, especially now that
especially without Giannis in the Bucks Pacers,
yeah.
I think it's looking more like the Pacers could really win that thing.
Yeah, I mean, the report was saying that he hasn't even really resumed running yet. So
yeah,
I don't know how you're going to be able to get back and play this series when, you're 2 games in and you haven't even started running yet. They might be screwed, Spinny, to say the least. Well, that's all we got for headlines. Actually, I got one more. Actually, it's kind of specific to me and you, Spinny. I want to know your thoughts. NCAA, they approved the new transfer rules that allow unlimited transfers and immediate eligibility for student athletes. Spinny, we're obviously both college coaches. So what do you think about this?
I don't love it. I like the one-time transfer rule better, but
I agree.
we kind of knew this is where it was all heading, so it is
That's
what
fair,
it is.
yeah.
You gotta learn how to perform your best in the environment that you're given, and this is the environment that we're given. So this is, we got to use it to your advantage as much as possible.
And coaching, college coaching especially, is all about adjustments, right? Like you said, adjusting to the atmosphere and the climate that you're in. So if this is now what coaches have to deal with, then they're just going to have to get used to it and start accepting it. I mean, you can't. I agree that the one-time transfer rule was better. I wish it would have stayed there, but I'm not surprised it went here. And to a point, you can't argue against it that much because at the end of the day, it also gives you, as a college coach, more opportunities to recruit other players, right? Your pool of available players to recruit was so much smaller. Now all these transfers you can get, all the incoming freshmen you can get, there's more players to choose from, right? In theory. So like I don't know how you could complain that much, if that makes sense.
Agreed.
Now, finish episode 99. We are going to give our all NBA teams. We're skipping all defense this year. Screw all defense, screw all rookie, especially all rookie. We're definitely not trying to pick 10 rookies because there's basically only 3 of them. First team, all NBA, Spinny. I think we are in complete agreement here. I would be shocked if you didn't have these 5 players, and that is Luka, Shai, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Jokic. Do you have those?
Yep,
Locked. I think it's not even a debate. I would say Brunson is maybe your closest. 2 seed in the East, averaging 29. He'd probably be the closest argument for first team, but I'd be shocked if it wasn't these 5. And also, I'm seeing people trying to say that Tatum shouldn't be first team. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Yeah, best player on the best team, averaging upper 20s. I don't know what else you want.
Literally. Makes no sense. Second team, we might have the same ones here too. Brunson, as I just mentioned. Anthony Davis. Kawhi Leonard.
Yep.
Kevin Durant. And Minnesota's own Anthony Edwards.
Same top 10 guys, first and second team. How about third? What's third looking like? This is the more debatable one, I think.
This is very debatable. I'm going LeBron.
Yep.
Curry?
Yes, I think Curry sneaks in. This might be his last year if their performance doesn't get better.
But we agree LeBron's a lock.
Yep.
LeBron's a lock. Jaylen Brown should be a lock, right?
I think Jaylen Brown's a lock as well.
I mean, he better be. That's the same type of thing with this Tatum crap. Like, if he gets left off just because his numbers, quote unquote, went down, like, no shit, his counting stats are going to go down with how many players they have on their team now. Like, that shouldn't take away from him, especially with how efficient he's been with less touches. So I think Jaylen Brown is a lock for this position or this team. LeBron is too. Curry, like you said, he's close. I would kind of almost throw them in as a lock. That means your last 2 spots here. Man, I don't know about you, but I got about 10 players vying for these last 2 spots here. Why don't you?
I think there's
a
lot of names here. My last 2 are Tyrese Halliburton and Devin Booker. Booker barely made 68, just squeaked over, but he's upper 20s as well on a good team, so I think he has to be in. And Halliburton obviously leading the league in assists and what he's been able to do and transform the Pacers offense. So big credit to him. Those are the guys I went with as my final 2.
Yeah, I have Halliburton too. Taking a team that didn't make the playoffs last year, now in the playoffs as a top 6 seed. They didn't even have to play in the play-in. Like, they were legit in the playoffs this year. I think that and like you said, paired with leading the NBA in assists, I think he has to get in because of that fact. I've seen some people leaving him off their list because of the fact that a lot of his production was in the first half of the season, and he really, really slowed down and struggled post All-Star break. But to me, I don't think that's enough to take him off this list. And my last one is actually Domantas Sabonis. This man averaged about 20, 13, and 8 this year. Those are incredible numbers, shooting above 60% from the field. His PER is absolutely absurd, obviously, when you have those type of numbers. Led the NBA in rebounds. I just don't know. Obviously, D-Book's got great numbers. I just don't know if the Suns get 2 players. So I felt like that 5th spot had to go to Fox or Sabonis. And last year we saw it go to Fox. This year I think Sabonis has been a little better than Fox, so I'm going to give it to Sabonis. And so that's my third team. Who else were you considering?
Maxey. I think Maxey has
yep.
to be in that consideration at that 26 a game level. Damian Lillard, I think, is in that top. He's like 16th in the league in scoring right now, played 76 games, very influential on his team. And then 2 a little more outliers that I considered. One was Zion Williamson.
Zion,
70
I had him down.
Very unguardable. And the other is Victor Wembanyama, honestly. I know a guy on that bad of a team is probably never going to get in, but just the rookie stat line he put up was one of the best we've ever seen. So he was someone that came to mind for me as well.
Yeah. Also thought PG deserved to be an honorable mention. He flirted with 50, 40, 90 season this year. Clippers are obviously very good. Paulo Banchero, second-year player leading a team to a top 5 seed. I think he deserves to be an honorable mention. And if you're throwing Wemby, I feel like you have to throw Rudy, which leads to my question. I know we're doing positionless teams here now, right? But should the DPOY automatically make All-NBA? Because to me, it seems weird. No. Okay.
No, I don't think
I lean that way too. But to me, it just seems weird not having the best defensive player in the world not be a top 15 player. That just seems weird in theory.
But I think it applies with Rudy. I think it's applied with Marcus Smart in the past. I think there's been a little bit of a history of it applying. So pretty similar. The All-NBA teams will be very interesting, and they're always fun. So cool to see a wolf on the top second All-NBA team. That's been fun.
Man, if Ant actually gets second team, bro, Ant and Cat All-Stars, Rudy likely DPOY, Nas 6th man of the year, and Ant second team All-NBA. Wow.
What a season, huh?
Yeah.
What a season.
Holy shit. Well, Spinny.
All right, Hardies and Hardos.
I actually have
I
have a quick Q&A here.
You have Q&A for me? All right, let's get it.
One very simple question. We kind of obviously discussed it during our mock draft, but I want you to solidify it right now. What quarterback do you want the Vikings to take tomorrow night?
Do I want?
Want. Not what you think will happen. Nothing. Your preferred option.
Number one want is trade with the Chargers and get Justin Herbert. That's my number one. Trade pick 11, 23.
I didn't think of that, but
Darisaw, whatever we got to do, get Herbert on the squad. That'd be number one. Number two, number two is Jaden Daniels. I think there's a chance Washington messes up and takes May at 2, and Daniels is available. Number 3 is McCarthy. I think he's going to be better than May. I've liked how much better he has gotten consistently throughout his time at Michigan. And then 4 would be Drake May. Obviously, I don't think there's a realistic chance we get Caleb Williams. That's where I'm at.
I'm with you, except I have May in front of JJ. So,
yeah,
obviously, I'd rather have Herbert, a proven guy, over any of those other quarterbacks, especially considering the success rates of rookie quarterbacks. It's like 40% basically in the last 20 years. So, 2 of those 4 quarterbacks are going to be busts for sure. So that's why I'd rather have Herbert. That's my number one.
Hopefully CTESPN is right and Justin Herbert is a Viking. Yeah. And then
he's been right about some other things this offseason, so who knows?
We'll see. All right, Hardies and Hardos, thank you very much for listening to this pod this week. We'll see if we can get the camera to do what I need to do.
100.
Yeah. Episode
100 next week, Spinny.
Ends with fireworks, and episode 100 is next week. We will be together, and there will be a new studio unveiling as well. So fun
special
week
episode
for episode 100. Can't wait.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all.